Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, you gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and the podcast. How was your weekend, your bon fin de semana? I hope there was plenty of bon in your bon fin de semana. There was in mine. Oh, my goodness. Excellent yesterday evening. I'm working backwards, and it feels like I haven't been here for ages. And that's really because I haven't. I wasn't here on Friday in this seat. Mrs. M did a fantastic job on Friday. Great job, Aloysia. Thank you very much for taking care of business while I was out and about drinking Barrel. And look at that. Not only drinking Barrel, which was superb, I have to say, but also, I've got pictures to put up about my experience at the Barrel factory. Yes, I'm trying something Portuguese this morning, which is a Barrel choc. We also have a Learn About Portugal quiz question from Friday. But anyway, the top and the bottom of that, the soup and the nuts of Friday was superb. 2 schist villages in the company of Filomena. She was, we had Rodrigo driving the bus. It was a wonderful man. And Filomena met us in Miranda de Corva, her hometown, of course. We went off to the first of the schist villages. And then we went to the Barão factory, that's right. And then we went to Oborgo, which is part of the context of our Learn About Portugal quiz question this morning. A naughty nibble. Some might say a disgusting dessert, but in a good way, So we'll come to that in due course. And then another schist village before we returned home late on Friday evening in the very safe, capable and charming hands of Rodrigo, the bus driver, to the car park in Caldas. So thank you to everybody who came to that. It was a superb day out. We will have more. I'm already talking to Filomena about more trips that begin here on the Silver Coast. So drop me a line if you want to be involved in that. You'd be more than welcome to join us. And so that was Friday. My goodness, what a busy weekend. Actually, I'm looking at it in the garden now. We've tidied up the garden over the weekend. Yes, we wanted a somewhat quieter weekend because it's going to be a busy weekend next weekend. And tomorrow, of course, a Portugal Discovery weekend. It's not too late to join us. In fact, it's still quite early, really. We're not going to be there for another, 4 or 5 days. So, and it's informal. That's how we roll. Let me just bring that onto the screen, actually. That's how we roll with these Discover Portugal weekends. We had the Ericeira weekend, of course, which you can have a look at on our website. Tomorrow, next weekend, and I'll bring some details up for that. And also San Martinho de Porto, which we'll talk about as well, of course, when Anna joins us at around 9:30 this morning. So a beautiful lineup of Discovery weekends, including we've done Ericeira. We will have Tamar this weekend, and we have San Martinho de Porto in November, and Coimbra, the Christmas lights in Coimbra in December as well. There's one lined up for Braga in the new year. But apart from that, if you want to nominate your town or an experience, it doesn't have to be a town or a city necessarily. It could be a country village where a number of us could come and stay and have a look and see what's what. So feel free to nominate a destination for that. Sorry, I'm a bit. Is the word dissipated? There's so much to squeeze in this morning. I don't quite know where to start. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to say hello to a few people. Gabby, good morning to you. Francis is in. Pete, Sarah, Bob. Pictures from Bob. Pictures from Anna too, a Swede in Portugal who's also here, and Andy Klein, a video from Andy. I think I might play Andy's video, a minute of beautifully produced video, as we've come to expect from Andy from Aveiro this weekend. Andy, of course, our cameraman. You're going to see him a couple of times this morning because he's on my video of San Martinho de Porto, where we want you to come and be an extra in our next bit of filming in November. But anyway, more about San Martinho de Porto to come when we talk with Anna a little bit later on, she of the Portuguese Immersion Experience, who I hope will be joining us at 9:30. And of course, James at 9. The Banana Slug is here at 9 with his mindful migration reflections, musings to alliterate that completely. His musings on mindful migration from America. Nearly. Okay. Here's Andy's video then. When was this done, Andy? You say a weekend video. So I think maybe this was made on Saturday. This is called Prisma. It is a tech festival that was happening in Aveiro, and Andy was there to capture it for us. Very nice, Andy. Thank you very much for that. Good morning, everyone. You say, looking forward to seeing you, mate. Great to see you at the Portuguese. Portuguese, of course, it's Portuguese. Great to see you at the San Martinho de Porto meetup last Wednesday for the recce. And I'll play that video that we made inside it. Forgive me, Andy, because it's not as good as your video making, but it is an invitation to everybody to come and join us and be in the filming on that Saturday afternoon, the 4th of November. Here's what I wanted to share with you. I'm busily crossing things off my list of all the things I wanted to include this morning. This is the Tamar weekend that's coming up. All right. So as I was saying, it's not a tour in the sense that, you arrive on Friday. None of these weekends are like that. I don't have that sort of attention to detail. Perhaps some of these weekends will be better organized, arguably, or more tightly organized in the future if somebody wants to step in and help us with that. And there are a few people in the frame for that. But the way I see it, you turn up on Friday. This is the skeletal. Actually, if we go back to the overview on the website, is that? Oh no, that hasn't changed. But I'm looking at the overview, which is basically you rock up on a Friday. And we have a bit of a gathering and a drink together on the Friday night, so a nice hostelry. And then on the Saturday morning, we might meet for brunch. Some of us might get up and go for a walk on the Saturday morning. And then we'll do a bit of filming, the Englishman, the Irishman, and X, Y, or Z on the Saturday afternoon. And then Saturday evening, we'll have a party, a bit of a shindig, a bit of a knees up, some shenanigans. Sunday morning, maybe hair of the dog for those who need it, a bit of brunch, maybe a walk around the town, the city, and then another gathering to say goodbye, and can't wait to do this again on the Sunday afternoon. That's the basic format for how we roll at the Discovery weekends. I think that's a good format. I think people should choose where they want to stay for themselves. And if you look on the screen now, you'll see that's how I've shaped it for Tamar. Drink social at the Arco pub on Friday night. These have all been carefully selected by Ben Austin, who's our man on the ground there. And this is what you can do. You can be the co-host on the ground in the locality. Ben's done an amazing job. We are brunching at Cafe Paraiso, which is a legendary. I showed you the website for that cafe, I think, last week, where I think they filmed a Stella Artois. So beautiful is that cafe. and so atmospheric that they shot a Stella Artois advert in there, I think, that you'll see on their website. So brunch there on Saturday morning, perhaps a tour of the convent. You can go up there on a tuk-tuk from town. You see, you can choose to do these things or not. You might just want to sit in Café Paris, so you might want to have your own little walk around the town. You might be with your partner and want to have a little canoodle. It's up to you. I'm not going to say, at any particular time of the weekend, you've got to be here, there, or anywhere. You choose, come together as you wish. It'd be nice if everyone gets together on the Saturday evening, of course, and we're looking at the restaurant Nabal, carefully, again, chosen by Ben here overlooking the river, and that's after the filming with me and Bobby. And on this occasion, an Englishman and an Irishman and 2 Brummies is the filming project for Saturday afternoon. How about a walk in the Botanical Gardens of Tamar early on Sunday morning? Brunch at a different cafe, the Hannah Cafe, which looks fantastic. All those lovely sort of avocado on toast and eggs Benedict and those sort of lovely breakfast items in there. Those classic Portuguese breakfasts there. Don't look that up. And then a send-off, perhaps back to Café Paris or a different pasteleria in Tamar. There's a number of options for accommodation. You see, you don't have to stay at the Templarios Hotel, but if you want to treat yourself, you can. You can stay at the Hotel Repubblica or the Artistic Guest House, which is another option there. And there is a booking.com form there for you to choose your accommodation. And there's a lovely video about Tamar. If you're not at all familiar with Tamar, there's a lovely Visit Tamar video there. So that's next weekend. Please come and join us. We'll have some fun there. We will. And of course, the rugby is ongoing. Portugal did so well last night. I watched. Did I actually get to saying thank you to the Caldas Rugby Club, where Colin and I were last night, and we got a bit of feedback. We've got Colin's match report from Portugal's amazing, lion-hearted performance last night against Fiji. So I think I'll play that next, and then we'll come back to your greetings. Who else has joined us this morning? We've got Fam Ariel, we've got the Global Nobles. Morning, Greg. Gabby, I saw you there, Gabby. Good morning to you. Thank you for saying hello twice this morning. Wow, that looks really cool. Kids and I would enjoy that. Thanks to Andy Klein. Oh, that's the Aveiro video there that we just spun. And Charles Dawood is here as well. Good morning to you, Charles. Good to see you. And Solar P, reflecting on what I said about Philomena's trip. I heard she does trips for Brits at gmail.com if you want to get on her waiting list. We're planning another one already from the Silver Coast. Any day out with Philomena, says Pete. It's an awesome experience. We had 3 festas in 3 days here, including a massive one in Alvagra with bumper cars, with Garvo, the Lardoza Bean Fest, and the Fundao Agricultural Show. Isn't it amazing, Pete? Just when you think, oh, it's winter, autumn approaching, everything's going to calm down. Quite the opposite. Bon dia todos from Bob. We'll show your pictures. It was a great weekend to hike the Peneda Gerês. Lovely pictures from Pete to follow as well. But here's the match report from Colin. Great job, Portugal. I'm with Good Morning Portugal's rugby correspondent, Rugby Colin, funnily enough. What do you think of that match? 24-23 to Portugal against Fiji, Colin.
I thought that Portugal played out of their skins. So much passion. And Fiji just didn't know what to do. What a wonderful result.
And there we are in the Caldas Rugby Club. They enjoyed it here, didn't they?
I think so, if they weren't drinking too much.
So what does that mean now for Portugal in the Rugby World Cup?
It means that a lot of young players are going to join rugby clubs.
Yeah.
And we will expand it and get rid of that stupid round ball game.
Yeah, I don't think so. Do you?
No.
But they're coming home, but what with their heads held high, basically.
Absolutely, I'm sure people will be at the airport saying,
quite
well
rightly
done.
so. Quite rightly so.
The passion they've shown tonight is unbelievable. They show themselves on the world stage to be worthy of being there.
And who do you think is going to win overall? Because we enjoyed the match with Bobby, didn't we? The Irish are in with a good chance, aren't they?
Well, the Irish should win because they're world's number one.
Yeah.
The problem with World Cups is it's never ever that you know from the start who's going to win, because every team could have a wonderful game or every team could have a bad game in them, and quite often I enjoy the semi-finals better than the finals.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So good luck to Ireland. Are they your favourite, personally?
Being half Irish and half Welsh, yes.
Oh, you've got all bases covered in, but
of course. And now Portugal aren't in it, yes.
Yeah, excellent. All right, thank you for that. Yeah, Coach Turner's here as well. Well said, Colin. It was great, really good. And Pete also offering his congratulations, I think, there to Portugal. Ben organising, just reminding me. Yeah, Ben, of course, has played at the rugby ground in Caldas where we watched a match last night. A massive shout out to Portugal's rugby team for their first ever win in the Rugby World Cup by 1 point against Fiji. The atmosphere in the rugby club was amazing last night. Charles, could you do me a favour and stop harassing other members of the community here? This isn't a place really for finding Facebook friends. Fair enough to say hi, but you seem to be a little bit too keen for my liking here. So I think Gabby's left now. So ease up, fella, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Looked incredible. Andy Klein got me wanting to keep an eye out for next year. Let's talk about the Tech Week that Andy created a video around about. The light shows happened every night last week for Tech Week in Aveiro. Lots of families enjoying it. It's a smart city, isn't it? They're priding themselves. I went to a launch event of Aveiro becoming a smart city, and 5G, all the rest of it, Wi-Fi on every lamppost, that sort of thing. Oh, good. Gabby, you're still here. Thank you. Pam, I actually saw a group of young people practicing rugby in the park in Alcobaça recently for the first time. It really has changed the game, so to speak, isn't it? I think it's put rugby higher up the agenda for Portuguese sport. Portuguese love the sport, of course. It's a great country to live in if you are a sports fan. And I think the national rugby team really did themselves proud. And I think it's done something to bring rugby into the public consciousness here. Yes, well done, Portugal, says Francis. An incredible performance. The darlings of this year's World Cup, in my humble opinion. Wonderful, eh? The Wolves. Os Lobos. The Wolves is the name of the Portuguese rugby team, and they will come back, I imagine, to an ovation at the airport. Not just yet. I hope they get to stay out there and watch the rest of the tournament. Or yeah, will they? I guess they will, won't they? Coach Turner, bom dia, Gumpers. E parabéns, Portugal. What a wonderful, fantastic result. Fiji are a great side. More to come from Los Lobos, I think. And the God Squad tip of the day. Let's stay with Coach Turner for the time being, who I forgot to share this last week. Saw that this is your picture, isn't it, of the DeLorean? That came up as a dad joke last week. And there it is, an actual DeLorean motor car there. That's absolutely wonderful. And we're going to be doing more about motors, I think. I think Colin and I were having a great chat on Friday. And I think people who are coming to Portugal to buy cars need a bit more help. So we're going to record. We certainly want to do some test drives of cars. And we'd also like to talk to people who've bought cars here and do interviews with them, such that might make it easier for other people coming into the country. God Squad tip of the day then. This time of year is when winter training starts for athletes, particularly sprinters. The first block of training is normally designed to build the resilience needed for faster work. Okay. Thank you for this, Coach Turner. For us mere mortals, the lesson is to build slowly, gradually growing endurance, strength, and speed. The other lesson is not to overdo it, though I suspect most of us won't have that problem. Okay, don't overdo it. Think about a slow build up and use the winter maybe to cultivate some new active habits. And I'm going into my last week of my shape shift. I'm down from, 87 to 78 kilos now. I'm finding that last bit a bit difficult, I'll be honest with you. But my shape is changing. This whole program, thanks to my trainer, Henry the trainer, who's been coaching, supporting me from a distance in Devon, based on his app that he uses and his incredible insight and guidance and support. I have changed my habits of a lifetime have been changed. New habits have been installed. It's changed me in so many ways, physically, mentally, It's been quite amazing. I'm going into my last week, and I'm hoping to hit that 75 kilo threshold. Wish me luck. Bom dia a todos from James. Feliz segunda. Como foi o vosso fim de semana? And he'll be asking you that himself when he joins us in about 10 minutes' time. Here's a quickie from him. I'm reading a book about sandpaper, he says. It's a work of friction. Oh, my God. Something to think about. Having a kid is like having a broke little best friend who thinks you're rich. Yes. Bon dia from VRSA, Feira de Praia this week here. On it goes. The fun times here in Portugal. Market week with a lot of performances and visitors. Now, Anna's back from further north in the country, where she sent us these lovely pictures of Leiria. Look at that. The castle on the hill is a beautiful city, and some beautiful street art as well. Look at these. Absolutely beautiful photographs. Thank you very much, Anna, for thinking of us. Look at that on the side of a building. And look at this beautiful building here. That looks like a painting, basically. Beautiful photographs. Thank you very much. And I wasn't sure if this one was Leiria or if it was from Bob, who sent us pictures of the Peneda de Gerês and hiking there, which we'll go into now. But that, I think, you can see in the city of Leiria. It's a lock, is it not? Or a little waterfall as you're promenading through Leiria. So totally agree with you that Leiria is a beautiful city. Let's move on to Bob's pictures then of the Peneda de Gerês. Is that look at that? That's a fantastic picture. A tiny little person at the top of a different waterfall in Portugal there. It's about a bit of naturism going on there as well. Bom dia a todos. It was a great weekend to hike the Peneda de Gerês. Meeting friends along the way, by the look of you there. Cascata do Arado, altitude of 750 meters above sea level is that. Lots of granite, as you might expect there, up in the Peneda de Gerês, and these wide vistas. Look at that. And you say that the water was very chilly up there, Bob, this weekend. Look at this. A couple of ninjas training there in the water. And a final picture. If I open up WhatsApp again, you can contact the studio, 913-590-303. But what was it you were saying, Bob, about the temperature of the water there? Unbelievably clear, cold in capital letters water. Moderate hike, worth it for sure, and not crowded. Early on in the weekend, met 30 people or more on the way down. It was a great 6-kilometer hike each way to Poço Azul dos Gerês. Beginning point will be on a sign and is connected to the higher waterfall there. So I think that was the beginning point, that sign there. Thank you, Gumpers. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Anna, for your lovely pictures, images. We can take video as well on 913-590-303. Thank you, too, from the Ancient Marinator, who told me, I was thinking, oh, this is nice. He sent me a nice comment early in the morning. What a lovely way to start the week. You look so much younger with the beard shaved off, Carl. No, that is not me, but congratulations to Marina Machete. That's an interesting name, isn't it? Marina Machete. Does sound like, well, it's definitely a stage show, isn't it? Marina Machete will be the second biological male vying for the Miss Universe title next month. Transgender woman has been named Miss Portugal for the first time in the history of the national beauty pageant. Marina, a biological male, was crowned during a ceremony in the southeastern city of Burba on Thursday. Machete is a 28-year-old and is 28 years old and worked as a flight attendant for 5 years. She previously won the Miss Palmeira competition. Congratulations. First, proud to be the first trans woman to compete for the Miss Universe Portugal title. Machete wrote on Instagram before the final. Well, congratulations. My goodness. Things ain't what they used to be, eh? But congratulations to you, Marina. Good luck in your onward journey. Who else is here? Okay. Look, seriously, Charles, give it a rest. Stop organizing your social life and stop harassing other members of our community here, if you don't mind. So it truly was a wonderful looking skip. Skip? I'm not sure what you... Oh, I should have... You're talking about the DeLorean. I love the fact that the DeLorean is not capable of reaching 88 miles an hour for the Back to the Future speed. Its top speed was 85 miles per hour. Could you not deregulate it? Just, clip a couple of wires and get another 3 miles per hour out of it, Pete. But you'd be lucky to get 60. That was a beautiful garage. Watched Back to the Future with my kids this morning and worked for Porsche in South Africa when I was younger. Still the most incredible sports car and love their electric models. Yes, talking to Colin in the wagon about those on the way back from the trip on Friday. We are going to be doing more about motors with Good Morning Portugal, helping people to buy cars more easily, because it is a bit of a stress, isn't it? Finding somewhere to rent or buy, and then that motor car purchase. And people understandably feel the need to get a car when they get here. Others, like James, eschew the motor vehicle and prefer to use public transport. But it can be quite a stressful process for people wanting to buy a car. So Colin and I are going to do some test drives and going to interview a few people, go to some car events, I think, as well in Portugal in the future. And how about that? Maybe you can hook us up with Porsche over here, Francis. Okay. Who else is here that I haven't acknowledged so far? Pam's in. Morning to you, Pam, as well. Are there any comments that I've missed in the 3 minutes we have together until we have James joining us? Hola. From Sarah to Antonio, and I'm sure everybody else here, good to see you. And the Fam Ariel, hola, as well. Bon dia to you. Who are you, Fam Ariel? You look like you've got a YouTube channel. Do you want to say more about it? Is it about, are you sharing the love of Portugal like we do here each and every single day here on Good Morning Portugal? I've got a feeling I've missed somebody here. Thank you for your God Squad tip of the day, Coach Turner. New comments coming in. If I've missed you and you want to reassert your comment, feel free to do so. Don't want to miss anyone out this morning. Can't wait to see the new Tesla Cybertruck here. It's based on the DeLorean. Yes, I thought I'd seen that shape somewhere, and I think Pete has got one of those, haven't you, Pete? Or you've got one on the waiting list. Portuguese cars are overpriced, expensive to fix, and unreliable, but they do have a maravilhas, old people killers, and cars that you would expect to see in a museum. Good morning from Jacqueline Branco. I found myself in a group with Jacqueline Branco, the ukulele group. Josh, our friend Josh here in San Martinho de Porto, has started a ukulele group. If you're a ukulele player and a ukulele player and you would like to meet other fellow players, a group has been started here on the Silver Coast for sure. The garage near Bath had a fantastic collection of cars, mostly Porsche, says Coach Turner, a petrol head's paradise. And Filomena, Tia Filomena is here. Hola, bon dia, alegria. Just popped in to say hello. Now starting my Portuguese lessons. I'll watch later. Beijinhos. Good morning to you, Filomena. What a brilliant job you did on Friday. I wonder if I can squeeze in a quick liqueur chocolate and talk a little bit about Beral. I did download the photos. And yes, it's like a wafer thin liqueur. Can I squeeze it in? I downloaded the photos, but I don't know where they ended up. Let me see if I can find them. I don't think I can. What happened there? I was downloading some pictures of. I'm extracting a zip file now before James gets it. It's like Mission Impossible. I've got 1 minute to go, 60 seconds. Oh dear, that file already exists. Would you like to overwrite it? I'm going in. I'm overwriting files. Do I snip the red wire or the green wire? Can I get this done in time? Let me just see if I can. No. Oh, maybe I can. Mate, am I in? No, go away. I'm trying to not sign up for a zip file subscription. There they are, those pictures. I can do it, I think, in the time I've got left, and maybe try something Portuguese, which is a Beral liqueur. Maybe I'll do it with James on the screen with me here, so to speak. Let me see. Just one more. Give me a moment, and I'll see if I can get those pickies in of Beral. No, they're pictures of Au Bourgogne, the restaurant we went to on Friday. It looks like I might have failed in my effort to bring those onto the screen. We'll do that a little bit later in the show. Let's play his theme music and bring him on, shall we? We'll come back to munching these lovely chocolate liqueurs. I say liqueurs with the plural. There's only one left in there because Mrs. M brought these back. They're so delicious. She ate the lot again for the second time. I didn't get one the first time round because she noshed a lot of those. A little handful given to me at a Portuguese petrol station, would you believe? And I said, there's some little liqueurs in the glove compartment there. Should we try them on the way home? Yes, she ate all of them. I didn't get to try them on the way home, but she enjoyed them, and I got to enjoy them for the first time on Friday, and I'm going to have mine with you in just a little while. Let's play his music and bring him on.
Bom dia.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. How are you, mate?
I am fantastic. Thank you.
That's good.
For these morning musings on Mindful Migration Monday.
From America. Doesn't quite
I'm
work.
not in America, so I can't say that.
But you're from America. Okay.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Before I distract you, shall we go straight to the musings of the mindful migration? Because what's happened, I think, in the last couple of weeks is we've started chatting and we've not got anywhere near what you wanted to talk about until we squeezed it in 2 minutes before the end.
Well, one of the beauties of mindfulness is that it can be applied to everything. So it's pretty, I have some ideas, a list of things. It's like, oh, if we get to that space where we can't, what do we say? Like that happens all the time. Other than that, I'm willing to go with whatever's in the moment. I did want to make an announcement. This moment right now is very special in that 2 years ago to the day, or to this time, I was 2 hours away from landing in Lisboa.
Wow. So we're just coming up on your 2-year anniversary.
Yeah, this very day. So I 2 years, oh, well, it's not 5, it's not 10, whatever. But I look for, every sort of landmark, everything to measure where I've been to where I am. And this is one of those. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years. And I'm thrilled to be here. I can't believe because I number the shows that I do with you for my future YouTube channel for my own references. We're at like 76 episodes we've done of this.
You're kidding?
No, not at all. And it's just, so time just, was that the Steve Miller Band? Keeps on ticking, it just keeps moving, right?
Keeps on ticking. Yeah, absolutely. My goodness, 76 episodes.
Yes, so far, and counting, and loving it. So, there's all of that. We've talked about, historically, we've talked about being in the infatuation stage of being here. I don't know that it's that, but it's still rich and alive and full and exciting and all the things that you might describe as infatuation. Maybe not as idealistic or I don't know, whatever other things may go with that. But time is so amazing because there are times that it feels like it's been 2 days, and times that it feels like it's been 5 years. And it just depends on kind of, I guess, what you're thinking about and how you're feeling about it. For me right now, I'm surprised that it's been 2 years. I'm happy with everything that has happened, with two exceptions. One is I'm still waiting for the arrival of my driver's license in the mail. And I'm approaching, in 10 days, I'll be approaching 6 months from when I was issued the temporary, at which time I'm supposed to renew the temporary, and I don't know how to do that. So that's one thing I'm not satisfied with. And the other thing is personal. I just thought I would have more language within 2 years than I have. I had this idea that I would be approaching fluency in 2 years. It's like, well, no, still talking like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, good effort on that. I know you're trying your best, and I think that I want to add something to that, if I may, because somebody said to me last night. I think this might cause you to chuckle a little bit. You cracked the language, haven't you? Someone else talking about me said to this fellow I met last night at the rugby that I was really good at Portuguese. And it's all relative, isn't it? It's because they'd heard me ordering some food or being in a conversation with someone, and their judgment of that I'd cracked it. And I was like, really, I haven't. I feel like you, James. I should have learned a whole lot more by now. And a bit like what I wanted to add about being here, sometimes it seems like 2 days, sometimes it seems like 5 years, is to enjoy it as well. You know, we will look back perhaps in years to come when we're doing our 760th episode, where we can speak Portuguese much better than we can now. And we miss those days when we were like 3-year-olds and we didn't understand what was going on. And that's something, you know, I'd extend that to the whole experience of being here in Portugal. Take your time, don't rush it, because you can't have that innocence for a second time by definition of innocence. You can't,
Right.
or you can't be naive forever, can you?
Yeah.
You can try, but like, you know, life experience, the passing time, a day, it just builds up, and you can't go back and experience, like you can't go back and experience landing in Lisbon airport in 2 hours time for the first time again. So we should treasure each of those moments, be mindful in them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And there was something in what you just said. And
About the language?
The thoughts just fly through. Well, yeah, language too. What I realized, the sense, it's not really a sense of urgency, but that push, like, oh, I need to be farther down the road. That is a very human thing to do about all kinds of things. And in this case, it's totally self-imposed. You know, I've put myself in this language race that is non-existent anywhere on the planet other than inside my mind. So, you know, the only real objective, practically speaking, is that, you know, to have accomplished however an A2 level is defined within 5 years to get that permanent residency managed. And I just keep telling myself, James, if you can't manage an A2 level within the next 3 years, you're doing something wrong. So I just need to relax. The desire is to be able to speak fluently, to be able to have intelligent conversations in Portuguese, and that's years and years away, if ever. So, but that's the one I want right now. So there's frustration in that, and to me, that's where mindfulness comes in. What do we do with those frustrations? You mentioned slowing down. We talked about speeding up, you know, fast and slow last week. So all of this stuff is relevant. And I did want to bring a little bit more attention to this notion of letting go, because what I was speaking of last week was this process of now I'm losing. I need to refer myself to my own. Oh, what do we do in the letting go? It's easy to say, oh, just let go. And we talked about you can't pretend to let go. You can't, you know, all these other things. What do we do? So there's practical applications to what we do in that notice, choose, and act process. And this is the act. I've noticed that I'm hanging on to this and that I'm suffering around it, and I don't want to have that experience anymore. So what are my choices? And from those choices, then we take the actions. And what are some of those actions? Because, well, what do you do to let go? And for me, I mentioned, I always, when I'm aware of it, I breathe. It's so almost instinct now. It's just automatic. When I realize, oh, you're really frustrated and you don't want to remain in this state, the first thing I do is take a deep breath, and that slows me down and centers me and gets me even more mindful. Then I can choose, well, what do I want to do? For me, again, as I mentioned last week, gratitude is a great way, because it's something I know, something I can apply right now. Sincere, honest, real gratitude, not just well, I'm thankful this, I'm thankful that, I'm thankful this, I'm thankful that. That doesn't do you any good. You know, just like, what am I grateful for right now? And that's why I keep sending you this photo of my view every time I'm on the show. You know, that's one of the places I go. I look out my door and I just go, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the view. I'm grateful for nature. I'm grateful that this is Portugal. And that goes emotionally in. So then it begins to settle. But there are other things. That's not the only thing that we can do. Sometimes we're frustrated in a moment and we're carrying it around and we feel like, oh, I need to do something about that now. And the idea I've mentioned before of side ballooning, like this is an emotional balloon. It's filling up with all these feelings that we want to channel into a more positive state of being. But right now I'm in the midst of trying to get the kids off to school or whatever. I don't have time to deal with this. So rather than leaking that balloon out on the people around me that I love, and I don't intend to, do that, just put the balloon aside, knowing I can get to it later. And then that is another practical application. Put it aside, and the application is dealing with what's in that balloon. Sometimes we can share that with somebody else and have it set up where they know. It's like, my languaging is around a session. I need a session. Have you got 10 minutes? And we have people in our lives who say, oh yeah, I know what that means. And yeah, I can give you 10 minutes. And they understand their job in that 10 minutes is simply to listen while you empty your balloon. I'm so frustrated about this, and then that asshole did that, and then this. Blah, blah, blah.
I need to empty my balloon. Can you help?
Yes. Yeah. And they know their job is simply to go, oh, it's the equivalent of the Portuguese pois. Pois.
Yeah. Everyone needs a balloon, buddy.
I'm just listening. So emptying a balloon can be one way. I mentioned gratitude and breathing, being in touch with friends, becoming social. I mean, finding a place to, in some ways, distract, but not distract like trying to run away from. Distract like finding an environment that supports you and that you enjoy and appreciate and can find love and peace and joy in. That will then help you to let go of whatever it is that had you frustrated or angry or sad or whatever it was in the moment. So finding friends to be with, walk in nature is a great way. Just a walk, period, just moving your body can be helpful. All of these things that I'm talking about are not only healthy for us, but in part they're healthy for us because they help us to let go of the things that we're hanging on to. And that's the old adage of, what is it? Hanging on to resentment is like giving yourself poison and hoping the other person will die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We have to let go of this stuff. Meditation is something that people do. Other forms of meditation related activities, yoga, exercise, working out. I mentioned the heavy bag last week, getting the aggression out and then settling and calming it down so the cortisol and all those other nasty chemicals don't hurt us. Let's see. So I guess those are all ideas, different things we can do. So the question is, well, letting go. Okay, well, people always say let go, but how do I do that? I'm really pissed off at this person, or this situation really bothers me, or it's still not settled. My driver license still isn't here. I have to get that done. So I can spin on that and get really crazy and frustrated and angry, or I can let it go. In this case, because it's ongoing, I let it go temporarily. It's like, okay, I don't need to hang on to this energy with it. It's in process. What it's going to be is what it's going to be. I'll deal with what I can deal with, but I don't need to get continually agitated around it. So now I can almost jokingly talk about it not being here yet. And at the same time knowing I don't want to have to deal with that. But, that's what happens. That's what happens. That's part of letting go. For me, the final piece of letting go is, people say, well, no, I let go of that. He said, it used to really bother me when this happened and that happened and they were such an asshole and this happened and blah, blah, blah. But I've let that go. It's like, no, clearly you have not let that go because you're still talking about it. So that's a measure. How do I know if I've truly let go? So are you still talking about it? Are you being sarcastic about it? Are you bringing it up as a joke?
It's a test, isn't it? Are you getting triggered still? And that's a mindful process in itself, isn't it? Okay, I'm thinking about that person, that event. I think I'm done. I think I'm genuinely done. But if there's a little ripple of something or other, you're not, are you?
Well, and I think too, the real test of have I truly let go is that you're just not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
It becomes an irrelevant time in your life way back when that has no bearing on where you're at now. It's gone. In fact, the only time you ever think of it is someone else brings it up and says, remember that time when? And then the check is, as you said, the trigger. Do I start going, oh God, yeah, I remember? Or it's like, yeah, that was the past. That was a pain in the ass, and now it's done.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
see
can
some of these things as an intelligence test. I mean, that can sound a bit harsh, but it's not smart, is it, to have, things run you that happened decades ago, or even last week for that matter. But you have given the means by which to be free of this, and you're furnishing that with extra things like emptying balloons and so on this morning, or untwisting one's panties. The image that came to mind for me is that delightful American turn of phrase, James, getting your panties in a bunch. You can untwang your panties, can't you? You could just imagine your pants becoming unwound.
And just think how much more comfortable that would be.
Exactly. You don't want them walking around with them, where they get sometimes. Unbunch your panties. Or, as the Portuguese say, I mean, if you've got children listening at the moment, just cover their ears. I mean, the interesting thing, the way the Portuguese put it, is unshit yourself, isn't it? What a fantastic! I mean, that tells you a lot, doesn't it? And the Portuguese are all over that culturally. And what their methods are, I don't know if there are any especially good cultural methods, apart from dancing and drinking and eating. Not that those are bad ways of doing it, but I wonder if there are other uniquely Portuguese ways, Antonio, after that. You did get some great feedback, because I thought what I should do with the great notice, choose, and act process that you've shared with us, James, is segment it. And I popped it over onto our YouTube channel as a 10.5 minutes. And it's called What to Do When Moving to Portugal Gets Too Much. It's basically a way of doing everything that James just talked about, and calming down and having a mindful process to get back to your center. Val Mack over on our YouTube channel said, thank you. I need to save this for my husband. I wonder how that went down with I want you to watch this video. Great life advice in general, she says, although I usually get hung up on the I can't do anything about it phase. Lol, I'm a master researcher, and turning that off is so hard. So good work there, James.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the truth is, if you can really embrace it, you can't do anything about anything other than your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You have no control. And that's a really hard one to let go of. But when you can truly embrace it, you can relax.
Yep. Well said, sir. Okay. I've got a few of your pictures from the week. Am I able to show is it okay to show your view from into the garden?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll say this too. If I send you something on WhatsApp, it's shareable.
That's what I like to hear.
Always,
and I have put that on my WhatsApp. If you send me something, it might be shared on the Good Morning Portugal show. But I do like to ask as well. But I'll take that as read from you. Got your knickers in a twist. Yeah, that's what the Brits say, isn't it? Get your knickers in a twist, panties in a bunch, knickers in a twist. Because we know that feeling is very uncomfortable. Right. Okay. A few things to catch up on then. That is the view you're talking about. And it prompts.
There it is. Look at that. Yeah. Every morning
there's James's slide at the bottom of the garden that he can go on if he wants to.
That's actually, if I were to take a photograph of me from behind right now, that's exactly what I'm looking at.
Brilliant. And it takes us to the question from Mr. S about living with a family. I'll come back to his exact question, because I've got a number of other memes to clear that I've built up. This came from you: how to burn thousands of calories in just a few minutes. I thought, but I began reading it. Oh, this will be helpful to my routine. We've all done it. What is that? Is that a sort of tuna hash there they got?
I have no idea. I don't think it's even relevant. Just the concept made me laugh.
This isn't yours, but it came from Deagle, because I was going to do a little cooking special based on how to burn calories. How to save time in the kitchen. Tired of boiling water every time you make pasta? Boil a few gallons at the beginning of the week and freeze it for later.
There you go. And it only take twice as long because it's frozen.
This show is not helpful. You cannot say this show isn't helpful.
That's right.
You also sent me this. Someone said 20 years ago, and my mind went, yes, the 1980s, but they meant 2003, and now I need to lie down. That is that's sobering, isn't it, James?
Absolutely. Yeah. I say, the 90s was 30 years ago. It was like, what?
Yes, exactly. And you've been here 2 years soon, probably nearly just an hour away from you landing in Lisbon now. And before the show's out, or around about that time, you'll have landed in Lisbon 2 years ago. And, that 20 years will probably fly by, won't it? Here's another view. We didn't get to explaining where this was. I'm guessing it's Ericeira if it was you that sent it in.
I sent that to you as a joke because you said that could actually be a lot of places in Portugal. So I sent that and said, where in Portugal is this? It's like
Yes.
Everywhere.
Pretty much. I have my own photo of the coast.
Yes, but specifically it is north, just north of Ribeira de Ilhas.
Very good.
The surf
Okay.
place. But,
and we might come back to this one. That's a goodie as well, isn't it?
I spend so much time amusing myself.
You so do. You're having a fantastic. No wonder it seems like it's only been 5 minutes. You're just
right.
busy chuckling to yourself. Right. Hi, James, says Mr. S. Isn't the family with whom you live Portuguese? And that was
they are.
An earlier question. Let me just see if I can find it now. But he was asking. You said because I think you brought this up, didn't you, on the cost of living webinar that you very kindly were part of last Thursday with Expats Portugal. And by the way, everybody, Expats Portugal's videos, and I'm in quite a few of them, we've just enjoyed 1 million views of Expats Portugal videos. Isn't that incredible?
Woo, that is amazing.
Hit that milestone over the weekend.
That's a big number. We get so used to hearing, million, billion, trillion. It's like, big.
Yeah.
Or as a former girlfriend of mine used to say, 1, 2, 3, many.
Yes, but we've done it. We've hit the 1, 2, 3 many views.
That's right.
On the Expats Portugal channel. Now, you mentioned that you live with a family. Could you elaborate on that, please? Is the question this morning? Do you mind?
Yes, I don't technically live with them. They converted their garage into a studio apartment. I live in the studio apartment. So it is a separate, independent living unit, self-sustaining. This is where I live. The only thing dividing me, however, from the main house and the family that owns this property is a single door from their house.
Yeah.
So technically, I can just open the door and walk into their house, and vice versa. I have said many times, but I know the audience changes, so it's hard to keep up, that calling them my landlords is just not accurate, even though technically it is. They own the property, I pay them rent. So technically they're my landlords, but the relationship is not at all correct. Louisa is a woman I have talked about that I met via Facebook when I was looking to do a language exchange and I was still in the United States. And that led to so many things, including her offering the studio to me at a really great price. And it wasn't because of me, this was just what she was charging for it. And ended up including a ride from the airport when I arrived 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago at this time, she was on her way to the airport with Sidonio to come pick me up from the airport and bring me home. In that 2 year period of time, and much less than 2 years, we become close friends. We refer to each other more as family than anything else. I typically have at least one meal every week with them at their kitchen table. And when they do their errands down into Ericeira, they always ask me if I want to go. We go together. We spend 6 hours going grocery shopping. That's my ongoing joke, but that's, so that's the nature of the relationship. And Louisa speaks English fluently. She has a very strong Portuguese accent. So I have to listen just as hard to her speaking English as I have to listen to Portuguese. The difference is I can make out what she's saying when she's speaking English, and I can't make out anything when people are speaking Portuguese, or very little. So she's been a great, she's also a teacher. So is Sidonio. So Sidonio teaches primarily math. She teaches French because she's also fluent in French.
Wow.
So it's a great language resource for me. I can say, how do you say this? Or I'll say something and she'll say, what? And I say, well, in my vocabulary study, I learned this to say that. She says, no, that's not really how you'd say it. You'd say it like this. So I get some, not a lot, not as much as I was hoping for when I was looking for that language exchange. But it's a very sweet, very close relationship. These people that I guess the closest thing I'd say is I live next door to, although I actually in the same physical structure. So yeah, what you see behind me is the garage that's been converted into a studio.
It'll be an amazing agency or website, wouldn't it? Where if this model caught on, it's got legs, isn't it? The arrangement you describe isn't for everyone, but it could be for quite a few people. As if not the first year of life in Portugal with your starter family, then an ongoing relationship as you've calculated. Yes, please, Mrs. M. I will take a coffee so that I can try my liqueur, which you can't have. Although Pete's got a big box of them for you, apparently, because he doesn't like them. Yeah, I mean, there could be an agency, couldn't there? You know, it's like, long-term Airbnb, but with a whole lot more, a way of fixing up people who've got space in their house.
A foster for kids. I mean, for humans. Yes.
And it's a good arrangement all round, isn't it? There's a financial aspect to it, which could be useful to some Portuguese families to have the lodger.
I could be the homeless puppy. They could be the fostering family. The agency would put us together. There you go.
Foster a foreigner, extranjeros in your house. It's got legs, this idea, and you've pioneered it, and you've made it sound so attractive and helpful. There sounds like a great mutual benefit. Some scurrilous people would say the cowboy hat is to put on the door between the houses and don't come knocking when the cowboy hat is rocking. But that's not true, is it?
That's not a cowboy hat. It's not the cowboy hat. It's the not a cowboy hat.
The not cowboy hat on the door there. Right. Okay. So
or we could just call it a hat for that matter.
All right. I think we've answered Mr. S's question, though. So thank you for that this morning. And a few more comments about the language. Be gentle with yourself, James. Speaking like a 2-year-old after 2 years is amazing. Well, yes, it's true, isn't it? It's true.
Yes.
And like Big Phil says, doesn't it? When you learn to walk, it's the last time in your life people congratulate you and sort of unconditionally support you.
Another great description of that is because as adults, when things are really difficult, there's this urge to quit.
Yes.
It's like, imagine if as a 2-year-old, that was your attitude. I'm going to walk. This is too hard. I'm just going to sit on my butt for the rest of my life.
Or speak, and some children do that they are the exceptions, aren't they, that prove the rule that walking and speaking are the drive of humanity, are the aim of humanity. And you're one of them, metaphorically. And you did it with a 50-year-old brain, James. Well done.
Imagine that. Crazy.
So well done. Thank you, Mrs. M. I'm going to zap this fly on my forehead in a minute with the electric.
That'll be fun.
Yep.
I always look forward to those moments.
I'd say it took 3 to 4 years to be comfortable speaking Portuguese. So there you go. Pam's cutting you a bit of slack there as well. You just have to put the hours in.
Yes, and admittedly, I have not. You get into the life of being here and you get out of the academics of being here. It's so easy to do. I mean, first it's all administrative and you're busy. You got to go to stuff. You got to do this. You got to get your numbers. You got to, all that stuff. So where do I find? Okay, I'll take care of that. I'll get back into language when I get that managed. And then you get that managed.
Your chances are you're not immersed, are you? I mean, someone who comes here, who's working every day in a Portuguese business of some sort of restaurant, for example, they are just dropped in. And Anna's joining us soon. She, of course, of the immersion experience. Some people are immersing themselves naturally, aren't they, when they go to a country? And when the kids are put into school, they're immersed. That's where you learn a language quickly. So we could simulate that. I mean, if we get to a point where we think a bit like, when I wanted to get a bit healthier and fitter, I got on a program with that. I committed myself to it. And we can do that with a language as well, can't we? It doesn't have to be that difficult. And I know a lot of us like to taunt ourselves with this as well, like, oh, I'm so bad at languages, I'll never learn this language. there other attitudes towards it are available for sure.
Yes. Well, and I will say that living with Portuguese people who, I mean, Sidonio also speaks English. It's just much more difficult for him. He speaks much better English than I speak Portuguese, but he and I do a lot of sign language to communicate, where if I just listen very carefully, then I can understand Louisa. The downside to that is that I'm not forced into speaking the language.
Right.
I can always default to English, and I'm more and more now, I'm starting to say things in Portuguese that I know how to say, even though Louise is speaking English to me. So that's added practice. Like, just speak in Portuguese, and they chuckle because they appreciate it, or they chuckle because I say bochechas, whatever. But I learn by speaking. You know, I can hear, well, I can't hear the language, but I can learn by reading. I can learn by listening to lessons, but really going to get it by actually speaking and trying to apply it. And I'm easily off the hook for that, because Louisa, I can always defer to English.
Well, the other side of your point, if you're in a part of the country, you're not living with people who can revert to English, you are immersed, aren't you, as Mr. S is. I'm learning Portuguese online, but it's too hard. But here in Covilhão, I have to use what I know. No choice. Total immersion here. Well, you'll be the better for it, I'm sure, at some point, Mr. S. And you look like you're doing a great job to me when you converse with us in Portuguese on the screen, and I'm grateful to you for that. My online course, he says, can get so hard that I get stuck and I'm not able to finish the module I'm on. Sue's also saying, good morning, Sue. Check out Pimsleur. Method of learning a new language. He was a head of international linguistics for years. His CDs from the library really helped me with Finnish and French. We each learn in our own way, and that's a good point, isn't it? To introduce Anna onto the screen. She a pioneer in helping people learn the Portuguese language with her immersion.
Speaking of learning languages,
here she is. Olá, bom dia.
Olá, Ana.
Olá, bom dia. How are you all?
Muito bem, obrigado.
Muito bem. Okay.
Muito bem. Anna, how are you doing? How's everything going? We are enjoying an autumn here in San Martinho. We've had some lovely weather.
Autumn. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen any autumn signs of autumn yet here in San Martin. We're still midsummer. It's really,
It feels like it, doesn't it? It feels like
yes, it does. Yeah. So
I've gotten my summer tan over the last 2 weeks. So
yes,
it's incredible. So I keep saying this, but the anticipation of autumn and winter is a bit of a slowdown on the journey towards hibernation. But nothing like that. The weather is unsupportive of that, and the festa season continues at a pace as well, doesn't it? So many things to do and enjoy here in the country. You're bringing a guest with you this morning. Who's joining us a bit later on? What's that about?
I am. Well, it's a bit last minute, I know, but maybe it's just Portugal. But no, I've always been a bit last minute. We have a mutual friend whose name is Pedro, who lives in Tomar, and all of a sudden I realized that next weekend is your Discovery Weekend in Tomar. And that same weekend, he's introducing a new concept in Tomar, which might be very interesting to go and have a look at.
What brilliant timing. Yep. So he's going to come and talk about it.
Yeah. So, and he's coming online anytime now. So I'm going to let him explain what it is all about and why you should absolutely visit that weekend or visit his organization.
I'm so looking forward to it. He's a lovely man. We met him separately. He's a mutual friend, and we found him. He found us through other means, but we have a mutual buddy in Pedro, and he's a very interesting chap, and we'll find out more about him when he joins us.
He's incredible. He's He's a real sweetheart. He's a young, intelligent, gorgeous man with so bright ideas, and he's Portuguese, but he's so he's got this worldly view of things.
Yes, that's right.
Incredible. Yeah.
And I see that in a lot of young guys and gals. You know, the younger generation aren't quite as bound by these nationality things. They wear the T-shirt that James wear. I'm here. I'm a being of this world. I happen to be born
Yeah.
in Portugal or UK or wherever, but
Yeah.
they are sort of international or even cosmic
They
beings, aren't
are.
they? And
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
Yeah. And
giving him
he's
quite a build up.
absolutely.
I hope he's comfortable with that. A cosmic
Yeah.
being joining us in about 10 minutes. Right. You're having lots of fun still with the Portuguese Immersion
I
Experience.
am. I
And
am.
I
I'm
was
not.
in the cafe where, sorry, go on.
Yeah.
Carry on, I
Go
interrupted
on.
you.
Go on. Oh, you were in the cafe.
I
You were
was in
looking.
the restaurant where
Ah.
you have the event.
Ah.
And
Last week.
this is
Yeah.
a fantastic selfie. Me and Frank went into a Biocultural where you have your
Mhm.
Portuguese immersion experiences.
Yeah.
And Anna let us sit at the bar and have some
Mm.
food and some drink, and we had a lovely time. And the band are playing, one of the bands who I'm sure you're familiar with three percussionists.
Mhm.
They made an amazing sound. And can you see
Yeah.
in this picture, this cheeky selfie I'm doing, a cheeky lady at the back waving to be in the picture? Can you see her behind? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great night. It was a really good night. And we went on to the beer festival after that. In this same space, you'll be able to see and be with Ricardo and Anna
Mhm.
Anna and Ricardo,
Mhm.
the owners, and Anna here, who you'll see on the screen again in just a moment. Does everyone get to keep a biocultural apron? Can you buy one of those while you're there?
Well, you can't you can only get one when you participate in our Portuguese cooking and language lesson evening.
Quite
So
right.
the apron's given. Yeah, the apron's something you get to take home, just as a
Like a
as a gift.
diploma.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that
a
is your
diploma. Yes,
a
indeed.
fabric
There's
diploma.
Anna, yeah, on the left.
And the lovely
Um,
Ivy as well, who we've had on the show here.
Ivy, who's great. Yeah, and who's like she's a VIP now. She's I think it was the third time for her. Um,
Really?
yes, we have Demetrius who's coming, who had his fourth time, I think.
That's
So we have some,
wonderful. Well,
yeah, some
that
people
tells you all you
coming
need to
back
know about
every
how good
time.
it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
brilliant.
just
Brilliant.
yeah.
Okay, and
So
there's
that's
the
great.
pimenta keeps coming back as well, I suspect, isn't it?
Pimenta, salsa
Yeah.
picada. Yeah, I just took some other pictures this time just to, um, give some
Well,
idea of what we're doing there. Everyone cooking and trying to, yeah,
oh, look at
make
this.
some lovely courses. It's a lovely evening every time, and I'm not the one. Well, I absolutely feel that too, but it's also something I hear every time. It's just so nice to hear how everyone says, "Oh, I feel so at ease, and it's such a lovely evening, and the food's great, everything's great. Like it's just the perfect evening to get." I think a bit over that threshold of being in a new country, having to speak that language, understand that language, maybe lack of connection. Some people,
Mhm.
or maybe not lack of, but need need for more connection with people in the country and the language in general. So it's a lovely thing. Yeah.
Well done.
Um,
I
yes.
remember talking about it before it even started, and
Yeah.
we've been with you all the way, haven't we, on this journey of
Yeah.
making making something out of nothing, and not
Yes.
only something, but something really amazing that you've
Yeah. Yeah.
created now, and we're delighted to
Um,
be partnering with you or being associated with you for the Discovery Weekend next month. We've got people
yeah.
who are flying from the United States to join us on this
Ah,
weekend.
that's amazing, isn't
This
it?
is what
That's
I hoped
amazing.
for. This
Yeah.
is what I hoped for, that
Yeah.
people would fly in their scouting visits.
Well, we'll make it well worth. Well, I'm sure you will, and I'd love to participate in that. So anyway, on Monday we have this. If you can stay until Monday, there's not. We limit the number of participants
Okay.
because of the concept, because we want to make it um, comfortable for everyone, because we want to do that language instruction, because we want you to have a connection with Portuguese guests coming, and so because of that, it's limited in number of participants.
Mhm.
So and I think we're already more than halfway for the bookings. So you'll have to, hi Gabby, you'll have to be really quick. But we have something else. And I haven't told you about it. So this is really a scoop.
Oh my goodness.
Carl. Can I?
Okay.
Yeah,
No, you can't yet.
quickly.
Because no, you've got to wait just 1 minute because I've got a
Okay.
drum roll here somewhere.
Oh. Oh, isn't that lovely? And now I don't know what to say. No. So
Forgotten what it was.
Never mind.
we were thinking of launching a new idea, which I think would be lovely, together with Anna and Ricardo of the Baía Cultural. Something else, not so much into the language instruction part for that matter, but absolutely into the culture and the nature and everything Portuguese and just the love of São Martinho. We would like to organize mystery picnics. Where people can take a picnic basket from the Baía Cultural, everything's in there, drinks, food, anything, just go and get your picnic basket. And then we would send you off to a secret location where you could go and watch the Pôr do Sol, so the sunset, and then eat your picnic at a location that we have chosen.
How
Everything will be
lovely.
ready, the blankets will be ready, and everything will be ready to give you a special evening. And that is something we would like to launch on the weekend that you are all coming to San Martin.
6th of
So,
November. How wonderful
yeah.
is that? So there you go.
Yeah.
Another reason to come for that. This weekend's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I've got another sound effect for that. So you get to the picnic site and
Oof. Okay.
that bit
What?
over.
That wasn't what I expected. No.
Well,
That sounds frightening.
I know that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that didn't
That's
work.
exactly what you wanted, a sunset picnic. Something frightening.
Yeah, not the Hitchcock, the Alfred Hitchcock thing. A really nice, a really nice romantic pick. Oh no, I hope I haven't ruined that now.
Crickets would have been better.
I've got crickets. Don't
There
worry.
you go.
And it's it's really nice and quiet. But I've lost those now. Before you sit down for the picnic, do we have this?
You can't sit down. Oh, before you sit down.
Portuguese national anthem at the picnic. That seems only right. As the sun goes down, please be upstanding for the Portuguese national anthem.
Yeah, we'll find something.
It's a beautiful idea. It's a beautiful idea, and it's very Anna as well, isn't it? I can imagine Anna at Baía Cultural.
Oh yeah.
Creating a picnic basket to take, and there being a blanket there, maybe a bit of candlelight or something like that. That is a lovely idea.
The idea.
Thank you for sharing that with us. It's a scoop on the Good Morning Portugal show. Thank you so much.
It is.
How do people book? I lost my voice now. I'm getting so excited about it. How do people book with you, Anna?
Well, just go to the site www.portugueseexperience.com.
All right, I will put the link for that into the chat so people can do that. I think you're going to be fully booked for November, basically, aren't you? What with people flying?
Yeah, I'm expecting that. Yeah. I'm expecting that. What dishes do we cook? Well, we try to change the menu every time, so it's difficult to say exactly what. So there is always starters, of course. A starter or more, because this time we had 2 starters because they were quite simple to make, so we made 2. And then we always have a fish dish, and always have meat, and then we always have sobremesa, of course, a dessert.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah, and we have cocktails before we start, just to get more comfortable with speaking Portuguese. Or some cocktails. But if you want to come and you're a vegetarian, or you want to come and you have some allergies or whatever, we can of course adapt to that. So just send us a message and say, listen, I want to come that weekend, but I am a vegetarian. Of course, we'll make sure that there is something lovely for you to eat and make.
Very good. Thank you so much, Anna. We've got a few more comments coming in about the language. Darren can walk and speak, but not at the same time. Anna, does that come with time? If you're learning to speak Portuguese, can people ultimately learn to speak Portuguese and walk at the same time, in your experience?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
All right. James.
I'm working on it.
Well, remember that babies learn language easily because they aren't doing anything else. Yeah, you lazy babies sitting there eating and pooing your pants and learning the language. The baby, not that I'm suggesting you do that, James. The baby is the baby isn't worried about immigration status, driver's licenses, or anything else. You are doing great, James. How about that? You feeling the love? Okay,
Obrigado.
And you live in a bustling metropolitan area. As much as I like online my businesses, you don't often get given bottles of wine by your teacher or guidebooks or go to the bar at break time. In fact, going to the bar and struggling is a lovely way to pass the time, isn't it? Well, if you're going to struggle anywhere, that's not a bad place to do it. No. Thank you, Suze, for tuning in, and Aviva. Good to have you here this morning. And Val Moreno Guest House. We've got Pedro joining us in the background as well. Good day. Hello from Val Moreno House. If olives are included, I'm coming. Is that part of this? We saw
of course. Of course they are. What's a question?
Yeah.
There's always olives.
Yeah, they were here somewhere, weren't they?
Yeah, there they are.
Right there,
yeah,
right there.
And they were also in a salad, of course. Yeah, they're always included.
Consider that another
olives. Olives. Louro is always included. Alho is always included.
Okay.
Louro.
Yeah. Louro is alho. I get what louro. What is that?
What is louro?
Sure. Yeah.
Who knows that? Let's make it a quiz question.
Very good teacher input there. Not just telling me.
Louro is the basics.
Yeah. Make them work for it. Okay, what is louro, everyone? Put that into the chat. Thank you so much for sharing, Anna.
Thank you, Gabby.
Well. All right, superb. We're running out of time here. We better bring Pedro on. He's joining us now.
Pedro, where is he?
Live from Tamar. You've got the Portuguese Experience website there if you want to book up on the wonderful experience that Anna has been talking about. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. No, that's a bleep. Let me go to the right place. There we go. Yes. Hola, bom dia.
Good morning, everybody.
How great. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know this was going to happen. It's so good to see you.
Neither did I. Very good to see you, Carl.
It's been a while. And you've got we're in Tamar next weekend for our Discovery Weekend.
I heard so.
Yeah, we're going to be there from Friday. We're staying on Saturday. We're doing a bit of filming in Café Paris for Saturday afternoon. We can come and see you as well. What are you doing there?
Yes, do that. We have a lot of exciting things coming up this weekend. So we are very excited to welcome you here and show us what we've been doing.
Go on. What exactly have you been doing?
Yeah. So I wanted to share with you this project that we're working on. It's a cooperative. We are here based in Tamar, 8 of us for now. And we are working on getting this thing going and hopefully very soon starting welcoming new people. So just to make it a very brief introduction, this cooperative idea is just a common understanding that the way we grow is directly connected to the way that people around us also grow and expand, rather than the other way around, like more of a, what do you call it?
Competitive versus collaborative. I'm with
exactly.
you. Yeah.
So that's just the basis of what we're doing. The cooperative itself is just a legal or an institutional framework to be able to make that happen. We just stumbled upon it in a way in the legislation that there's this thing which allows us to make that a thing. So that's where we started from. None of us really knows where this is actually going to go because it's just 8 of us and it's a very large dream. But the idea is just to create the platform and the framework for more people that feel the same way, to be able to join and create together this big thing that nobody really understands yet.
Well, I'm with you.
Yes.
Yeah,
the basic concept is sustainability, isn't it? Is to create a sustainable way of living and working together and
yeah. So the collaborative and sustainable way of growth that we all desire and that we all would like to see more and more in our society, it's just a platform to make that more and more of a possibility. So we have 8 sectors. So we range on a very large scale. We go from agriculture, housing, services, commerce of goods, education. So it's a quite broad thing, but it's something that is also going to evolve gradually and sustainably over time. the way that the projects start coming in and the dreams of people start to become more tangible, and also that people connect and create other things that maybe they didn't even see yet from their single point of view. Yes, very much so. So we actually just came back from the south of Portugal, from the Cooperatives Forum in Portugal. We had 22 cooperatives gathering, and that was the analogy, this forest or this network of people and also of cooperatives that are connected and are growing together. So it was very, very exciting to also see this national scale all represented, and people from all over the world that are creating the dream and the life and the society that we all want to see.
How very wonderful. Last time I saw you, we were standing in a field, weren't we? As I recall.
Yes, we were. Also a very creative and abundant field.
Are you saying you were outstanding in your field?
We were outstanding in our field. No question about it. I love this because Portugal has a history of, when it comes to the cooperative movement, doesn't it? Generally speaking, to do with agriculture and wine production, it has to be said. But I think there is a good understanding of how people might work together for the greater good, or to be greater than the sum of their parts. And this is sustainability in the broadest possible way, by the sound of it. Not just agriculture, but sustainability of people's spirits and communities, and how they work together, and how we, to quote Charles Eisenstein, to bring about this world, the beautiful world we know in our hearts is possible. Especially poignant with the world news at the moment, of course, a model, a demonstration of how people can live together in peace. Not all plain sailing. We know this, don't we, with cooperative life? But I'm guessing that part of the whole business of coming together is to address how we communicate and connect with each other, again, in more fulfilling, sustainable and healthy ways. Is that part of it as well, Pedro?
Very much so. And in relation to what you mentioned, something very exciting that came from this forum is our understanding that cooperativism has nothing to do with cooperatives, right? And so to see these cooperatives now emerging, and there's so many new ones coming, but really from the standpoint of what it means to cooperate, rather, and some people were there and they were not even part of an institution, a cooperative itself, and to understand that this way of looking at life and this way of looking at society is so much more important than the institution itself. The cooperative now comes in as a completely new and refreshed, in my view, framework that still uses its legal framework and its legal status and economical status, but really is rooted in this new vision for what we want to create.
I knew I came to Portugal for a reason, and this might be it. Right, Pedro, tell us. You know, if not this particularly, this model, this way of, it's so interesting. I've been involved in this sort of idea work, for many decades now, and I've been involved in cooperative living with, relative degrees of success, however you might measure that. But what depersonalizing it, I think it's really important. As a step forward or an exploration for humanity. I don't want to be all ideological about it and say this is the thing people should be doing. But isn't it interesting as a conversation? Isn't it interesting as a possibility for people? And isn't it amazing that you're doing it in Tomar, in central Portugal? Can people? I mean, is this open to subscription? Can people get involved like Gabby wants to already? She doesn't even know where or what it is, as far as I can tell. But she wants to be involved anyway.
So I think there's several different steps. So first, I think this cooperativism idea is very important. That's where we started from. And now we have done this. We founded this cooperative. So there's this legal thing you can find online. I'm going to send you the link in a second. We're called Tinspirar. And you can find us at tinspirar.org, which would be translated to something like inspiring you. And now we are at the last stage of creating a space in the center of Tomar, which would work somehow as our headquarters and as a space for people to physically gather and to be able to bring in their projects and co-create. And we're having all these ideas of what we want to have in this space. And that's, I feel like, our last step and what's coming up this next weekend. So this Friday, Saturday, and upcoming Sundays, we are having the opening of our space where everybody can join us and feel more of what is actually happening here. So you'll be able to feel this as I see it, as a creative hub for ideas and also for putting our hands into the materials and exploring. And we have all sorts of things that we just gather from everywhere that people just give us or whatever, and we just bring it all together and create.
Well, this is some amazing timing. We're in Tamar that actual weekend. Yeah. James, this is like being in California in the 70s, isn't it?
Right on, man.
This is absolutely wonderful, Pedro. Thank you for being here. So yeah, if you could give us that link for people who want to learn more about that, and we absolutely look forward to seeing you next weekend. Anna, are you going over to Tamar next weekend?
Of course.
Excellent.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll have a special guest myself then that weekend because my father's coming to Portugal to visit me.
Lovely to meet you.
And I'm just going to drag him to Tamar. I absolutely want to see what Pedro is up to there, and also I absolutely want him to meet Pedro.
There. Yeah. Well, your dad might become one of the elders of this developing community, of course, mightn't he? So Pedro, he's teased us and now he's disappeared. But hopefully we'll get that.
Disappeared. Yeah.
We'll regroup after this. This is a request for the weekend in San Martinho de Porto. I might cut it short, but there's a little bit of video while we just regroup and try and get Pedro back on. But this is for the November, not tomorrow's next weekend, and in San Martinho it's the early November. And this is our request for you for November. The Storytellers Palace Hotel in San Martinho de Porto. Funnily enough, I have just written about it in the Portugal Resident, and we're going in now into their Gatsby bar. Look at this. All that's missing from here at the moment are a few people and some atmosphere, but you can imagine it jumping. I think that's probably the right adjective, isn't it? Given that it's the Gatsby bar, full of flappers maybe. When we come here on November the 4th, we'll be filming. Here he is, our cameraman, director, producer, editor, Andy Klein, who made the fabulous promo that you saw from our weekend in Ericeira. But look at this place. Can you imagine yourself here on the weekend, starting on Friday the 3rd of November and extending into the 4th and 5th of November, and for Anna's immersion experience on the 6th. It's all that's missing from this beautiful room. When I was just discussing, or when Andy was just talking to me about it, he said there's not a bad, There's not a bad angle in the room. The only thing missing are some gumpers, some people who, if you'd like to be in our video shoot on November the 4th, on that afternoon, Bobby and I will be talking to the owner, Marco, here, who you'll see in my Portugal Resident piece today. But you could be sat here drinking a cocktail. Sat there drinking a cocktail. That's not a bad idea. Pedro, in this new community, do we all have to live sideways like that? What's happening?
Pedro,
he's looking at life from a different angle. Okay, we'll let him sort that out. And what we'll do now is the quiz. Okay, we'll do the quiz, and then we'll come back to Pedro, see if we can get him involved again with the link, certainly, to the project, and we'll see him next weekend in Tomar. Let's go to the Portugal quiz question of the day. I'm going to save my Barral liqueur for tomorrow and do that tomorrow. Sorry, Anna, did you want to add something there?
Yeah, did they already know what Loro is?
No, there have been some guesses, I think, about laurel leaves, bay leaves. Antonio saying has several translations.
When it comes to food, folio de Loro means bay leaf. Yes, indeed. Yes.
So you eat bay leaves?
Good. Well, no, they put it. Of course, they put it in
season with it.
Just to season it.
Flavor.
Okay, so if you don't use Loro, then you're not cooking Portuguese. Loro, alho, azeite, the olive oil has to be in there. You have to have garlic, lots of it, and the
salsa.
Otherwise, you're not doing it right.
Okay, that's a good shout with that, because I tried sweet bay for the first time at Garvo's a couple of weekends ago and crushed the sweet bay leaves from the tree.
Yeah.
And that fragrance is just out of this world, isn't it? And very Portuguese, as you say. All right. Naughty nibbles then. Pedro, I can see you. We'll bring you back on after this. But Naughty Nibbles, it's the Learn About Portugal quiz question, not on Republic Day. That was a cut and paste that I need to change later. We had the most amazing time with Philomena and some lovely gumpers on Friday for the Schist Village and Beryl excursion. More pictures and video to follow, probably tomorrow with that. Someone rounded off their delightful lunch at Lausanne's Albergo restaurant with a very Portuguese dessert, which raised an eyebrow or two, including Colin Ross Jones, who you can see here. That was the dessert. That's Colin's face when he saw the dessert. What's it called? Was it the dorsage phallicus? Was it the nun's breasts? Was it the nun's buns? Was it the gumper bumpers? Or was it the monk's trunks? Well, shall we leave that hanging there, so to speak, for this morning? And you can guess that on learnaboutportugal.com. Let's see if we can bring Pedro on with a link to his cooperative. Let's try him one more time. We'll see him anyway next weekend. Pedro, are you there?
Now I can hear you. I stopped hearing you. And
Perfect. Okay, well, it's 1 minute past 10. We should be out of here and probably planting seeds and growing things in the cooperative and breaking crockery in the background. What is the link to your cooperative? It's going to remain a mystery. This is incredible. It's a bit like the picnics, Anna, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to type it in, but it's to work.
We will get there. We can make it the first thing we do in the morning, and looks nice, that bar. Yeah, come and join us in the Gatsby Bar in San Martino de Porto. We're filming there on the 4th of November. I think we're struggling to get the link. Could you give us the name again, Anna?
Dinspirar. But wait. I'm going to copy it in the thingy here, but I already sent it to you, so you should have it, Carl.
Okay. Oh, you
just a second.
So
I have it.
Yeah, I've got you. All right. Yeah.
Isn't this how we started?
Paste it in the. I just pasted it in the chat, but I don't know if you can.
I've
see
got it now. They will make it the
Inspirar.
final thing we do. There we go.
Yeah, it's like inspire you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going into
gorgeous
the chat
name,
right
by the way.
Great idea. What a lovely thing.
Yeah.
What a brilliant idea to bring Pedro onto the screen this morning, Anna. And we look forward to seeing him and you and your dad in Tamar next weekend. Love it when a plan comes together like that. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you, James, for being here.
Thank you.
Do you have a last word, Mr. Slug?
You always catch me off guard. Like, oh, me? What? The only thought I had is the dessert. Slug would have said it looks like my family. So.
What? Say that again.
The dessert that you showed on the quiz, Slug would have said looks like my family.
Yes, it does, but it wasn't. Okay, just in case anyone's wondering about that. James, you've been amazing. Anna, you've been amazing. Pedro, you were amazing too. See you all tomorrow, everybody. Mama Bears.
Take a beat.
And take a beat. Yes, good advice. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.
Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.